Most of you guys know, I am a nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements in my practice, and I've been working with longevity and Dr. Wallach since 1997. That's going on, oh my goodness, 16 years. And I am proud to be here on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, sitting in for Doc Wallach today. I want to start the program off by talking a little bit about one of my favorite nutritional supplements, one of my favorite nutrients, vitamin D. Some of you may have caught the story that showed up in the mainstream media on CNN and Fawkes and other mainstream news sites a couple of weeks ago about vitamin D being less than effective for helping folks deal with osteoporosis. Vitamin D alone does little to protect bone health in postmenopausal women. That is a headline from Science Daily. The moral of the story, in my opinion, is the fact that you cannot just take one supplement and expect to have a healthy body. In this particular study, which was prominently posted on New York Times and Washington Post and other mainstream news sources, data was examined that determined that adults who took vitamin D had similar bone mineral density to adults who didn't, the implication being that as far as osteoporosis goes anyway, it doesn't matter whether you take vitamin D or not. This whole idea doesn't matter whether you take supplements or not. The problem is, as I see it, that people think of nutritional supplements as drugs. Nutritional supplementation has become something called allopathic nutrition. Allopathic nutrition is medical model nutrition. It's doctor nutrition. It's the idea that you take a nutritional supplement to cure or to medically treat a health condition in the same fashion that you take a drug to treat a health condition. You take a supplement like you take a medicine. Allopathic nutrition is the idea that you use nutritional supplements the way you use prescription medicine. You have osteoporosis? Take vitamin D. You have high blood pressure? Take magnesium. You got hypothyroidism? Take iodine. In other words, using nutritional supplements not to support health, but rather to oppose a disease. This is what allopathy is really about. Allo means to oppose. Pathy means disease. Allopathic nutrition is using nutrients to oppose disease. The problem with this approach, in my opinion, is this is not how the body works. And this is not how nutrition works either. Taking vitamin D is not about building bones. Taking vitamin D or taking any other supplements is about making sure your body has everything it needs to build bones, to build a body, to build a heart, to build muscle, to build a nervous system, to build a brain. If your body is falling apart, you're not going to be able to just take vitamin D to build bones. If your body's falling apart, you can't just take one vitamin to reverse some kind of degenerative disease process. If we're dealing with a degenerative disease condition, whether it's osteoporosis or autoimmune disease or heart disease or cancer, we're dealing with an overall breakdown in the body. We're dealing with overall degeneration. Bone weakness does not occur in a strong, healthy body. Bone weakness only occurs in a body that is dissolving or degenerating. And if you have osteoporosis or you have osteopenia or you have any bone mineral density problems, you not only have a bone issue, you have a body issue. If we have unhealthy bones, we have an unhealthy body, and we can't expect to restore an unhealthy body back to its God-given state of good health simply by taking vitamin D or any vitamin. As important as vitamins are, and make no mistake about it, friends, vitamin D is important stuff, really important stuff. Allopathic nutrition is just a silly health strategy, as is allopathic medicine. When you're not going to, if you're dealing with some kind of toxicity, it's not a prescription drug that you need, and it's not a single vitamin that you need. You're not going to get the bodybuilding or bone-building benefits that you're looking for simply by taking a single vitamin. This is why the Mighty 90 is so important. This is why the 90 for life is so important. Minerals, vitamins, fatty acids, amino acids, they're all important for building a body. They all represent the components, the building blocks that are required for building the biological system. And a healthy body is a system. A healthy body is a healthy system. A system can be thought of as a whole and single unit that's made up of multiple components, none of which can be removed without changing the system. In other words, in a system, all of the parts are required. Without a single part, the system is no longer complete, the system is no longer whole, and whole means healthy. In the case of the body, the system, to make the system whole means you need to have all the vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, and minerals. Of course, vitamin D is important. Of course, vitamin D is essential, but so are the other 89 nutritional components. And if any of these are missing or not an adequate supply, there's no way the body or any part of the body can be strong and healthy. The bones are a microcosm of the whole body. If the bones are weak and degenerating, your body is weak and degenerating, and you can't take a drug to switch it or to turn it around. You can't take a vitamin to switch it and turn it around. But you can take the mighty 90, you can take the 90 for life, because they're all important. And together and in combination, you can reverse any degenerative disease. This is the gift of the human body, and this is the beauty of what Doc Wallach has put together. The Healthy Start Pack, which is the basic system, the flagship system of the longevity line, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Ultimate EFAs, the Osteo FX. They're specifically formulated to give you everything you need to meet your daily 90 for life requirement. Yes, vitamin D is important for bone strength, but not on its own. Bones are made up of amino acids. They're made up of glycine and lysine and proline. If any of these are missing, vitamin D is not going to make that big a difference. Bones are made up of minerals, calcium, zinc, magnesium, strontium, and likewise, if any of these are missing, vitamin D supplementation alone is not going to be enough. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. We're coming back at you with more good health information. Our number today is 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. And I'll be sitting in for the next 45 minutes or so with my good friend and colleague, Douglas Winfrey. What is up, Doug?
Welcome back to the show. Great to have you on, as always. Got one here that made me think immediately of you. And the headline of this Fox News story is 10 Ways to Relieve Stress Naturally. And this is actually from the segment of Fox News' website that's called Dr. Manny, or Ask Dr. Manny. And he is
nutritional supplements was number one.
Yeah, well, no, actually it wasn't. He says, somebody sent him a question that says, are there natural remedies for stress? He says, winter and accompanying bad weather can be a stressful time for anybody, and with all the problems Americans are facing with the difficult economy, people are suffering from the negative stress. Negative stress takes a toll on our health and can lead to high blood pressure, obesity, heart disease, anxiety, depression, and among other problems. So he lists these 10 ones, and some of them were ones that I'd heard of before. Passion flower, say it's considered a folk remedy for anxiety and insomnia. Said a few studies have shown it may actually be comparable to the effectiveness of benzodiazepine drugs. And go on to say, believe that passion flower works by increasing the levels of a chemical called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA. Yeah, GABA. I've heard you talk about that before. Yeah, says it lowers the activity of some brain cells and making you feel more relaxed. It says there are many forms of it: infusion, teas, liquids, extracts, and tinctures. The next one is massage. They said, no, that's a no-brainer. Everybody loves a massage. It's used to relieve stress for thousands of years, and it can also reduce muscle pain and improve circulation.
And we could do a whole show on each one of these things.
Yeah, Douglas. Exactly. They say meditation or mindfulness.
Great.
It takes about 15 to 30 minutes a day. It's incredibly affordable because it only takes your mind to do it. And they go on to say, give yourself some silent time, let your thoughts run free, or just focus on breathing to relieve stress. And then they go on to say exercise, things like yoga, Tai Chi, or running, gives you time to be alone with your own thoughts, or not to focus on them at all. Also, has added benefit of releasing endorphins into the brain, which improves your mood, prevents obesity and other health problems. Organize your life. And I know this one works because I just did it the other day. Say organization offers a sense of control and peace of mind. You say a person feels edgy in their own house, tidy up. Studies have shown that the mere sight of clutter can put us on edge. Eat healthy. Say it's proven that junk food can make us depressed, not to mention fat. They recommend healthy foods like whole grains, I guess unless you're gluten intolerant, and protein, which I've heard you talk about. It can improve your mood. Foods that are especially effective in stress busting include blueberries, salmon, almonds, and according to scientists. And they say also put down that extra cup of coffee. And
that's probably a good idea. Yeah.
They say limit internet and cell phone use, and I do that as much as possible.
Wait a minute. Are they telling me I got to put my cell phone away?
Exactly. It says disconnect. Said part of the problem with reducing stress in today's world is that we are never truly able to shield ourselves from it. And then B vitamins, known to promote proper function of the brain and nervous system, as well as help induce relaxation and fight fatigue. Indicators of a B deficiency include irritability, depression, and apathy. Aromatherapy. They say inhaling certain scents have been shown to relieve immediate stress immediately by raising mood, reducing anxiety, and aiding focus and concentration. Popular ones for stress relief are lavender, cypress, and rosemary. And they go on to say the final one is sleep. It's an important natural stress reducer of them all. Too little sleep leaves us cranky, irritable, and on edge. Too much sleep can leave us sluggish and depressed, and I call that having a sleep hangover. And that can, you got to find the right balance. They say certain foods can help promote sleep, such as carbohydrates, bananas, peanuts, figs, dairy, and of course, certain holiday favorite, turkey, because they all contain tryptophans, a precursor for creating melatonin. And I would say that there is a 11th one, and that is deep breathing, which I hear you talk about a lot.
Yeah, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. You know, I think we've talked about this, you and I. There's two major nervous systems in the body. You got the stress nervous system, right, and the relaxation nervous system. This is so important because every single disease state that we deal with, degenerative disease or otherwise, really is a manifestation of an activated stress response system, the emergency management system. And one of the neatest things about those 10 stress-busting tips that you just talked about is they don't cost you anything, or they cost you very little. With the exception maybe of some aromatherapy. And by the way, we never talk about the ancient legacy, you and I, Douglas, on this program. Maybe we'll do that when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. We're taking your phone calls at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Toll free, you are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Doug, before we went to break, we were talking about the 10 stress-busting tips, and the first thing I thought of when you were reading those off is they're all basically free or cheap, and you can start doing them right away. Meditation, sleeping more, staying off of junk food. They're all real easy ways to reduce the stress response, to reduce the sympathetic nervous response, and if you're dealing with any kind of degenerative health crisis, that is your number one health strategy, is to reduce that degenerative stress response and turn on that relaxation healing system. How cool is it, Doug, that our bodies are designed to thrive and grow and repair and anti-age under conditions of relaxation and anti-stress, parasympathetic. Our bodies love to relax. We love to relax. Physiologically speaking, the relaxation response is where you want to be.
But doesn't that go to that whole fight or flight syndrome stuff that, when you're under the flight, that, your body thinks it's being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, so, it releases cortisol and adrenaline and all these stressors into your body. Right. And we're now creating that, artificially in our lives now because of stress of, can you make the mortgage? Are you going to be able to buy enough groceries for the family because, you had to spend all your money on Obamacare, and just all these things that didn't used to be part of our lives.
Oh, even scarier, there's a prescription drug that duplicates cortisol, that duplicates the stress response. They'll actually give you, if you have a degenerative disease, which is basically one of the signs of an activated stress response, do you know that the main drug the doctor will give you is a drug that imitates the stress response because it shuts down inflammation and shuts down immunity? When we're under stress, the immune system, the defense system shuts down. Why? Well, when you're running from a saber-toothed tiger, you're not worried about a virus or a flu, right?
Right.
That's the last thing the body cares about. It's just focusing all of its resources and all of its energy to getting you the heck away from that tiger. So the immune system is suppressed and inflammation is suppressed under the control of the sympathetic or stress nervous system. So doctors, in their infinite wisdom, will actually use a prescription drug that duplicates the stress response in order to shut down inflammation and shut down the immune system. If you have an autoimmune disease, this is the medical logic. Oh, you have autoimmune disease? We'll just shut down your immune system with a prescription drug. You know what that drug's called?
No. Oh, actually, maybe that was going to be my guess.
I'm telling you, I've been studying prescription drugs since 1983. Sometimes I don't even believe that myself. It's been 30 years, right, that I've been studying prescription drugs. The dumbest, stupidest, most perverted prescription medicine of all, and there's a lot of dumb prescription drugs, has got to be prednisone. Aside from emergencies, as an emergency remedy, for people to stay on a drug, a sympathomimetic drug, that is a drug that imitates the stress response or mimics the stress response, for people to stay on prednisone, as well-meaning perhaps as physicians may be, or as desperate as patients may be to do something about their health, Doug, there is nothing crazier from a healthcare perspective than to stay on a drug that amps up or that permanently turns on the stress response, a drug like prednisone. This is why people on prednisone end up with problems like osteoporosis and problems like cancers and problems like emotional disorders and anxiety. And just go read the package insert if you're on prednisone. Why? Because it turns on the body's stress response. And this is why it's so important to understand how to activate the parasympathetic, the relaxation nervous system. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Our number is 831-685-1080 and 888-379-2552. We're coming back with your phone calls right after this. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the CBS Radio Network. The Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I am Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. It's great to be here. Our number is 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Toll free. We'll get your calls here just a sec. Doug, before we get to the phone calls, I just wanted to get your take on this article from CNN. Kraft removing artificial dyes from mac and cheese. My mac and cheese is not going to be as yellow anymore. I'm kind of bummed about that. What do you think, Douglas?
You can always get mac and cheese from Go Foods. Youngevity's
nice
most recent company, yeah.
Will be nice and yellow?
I don't know. Really I haven't ordered any of this stuff yet, but I do know that a lot of the new company that Youngevity acquired is Freeze-Dried Foods, which is the name of the company is called Go Foods.
Wow.
And you could start ordering that today. It is on the AutoShip site now.
How do you hear about these things, Douglas? I didn't hear about that.
I talk to Dr. Wallach every day.
Okay, well, that's a plus, I guess. So it's Go Foods, it's called, and it's frozen foods?
Freeze-dried.
Freeze-dried?
And it has a 25-year shelf life, for people that are preparing for disasters and the like.
Are you preparing?
I live in fire and earthquake country, so, I always keep a healthy supply of food and water around. In fact, I have a water filter where I can drain water out of the river that runs past where I live, and also have one of the ultraviolet light, cleansers where you can kill all the bacteria.
Do you got room for an old pharmacist if I get into trouble?
Maybe put a cot out on my deck.
All right. Well, I'm going to think about that, Douglas.
There you go.
Meantime, let's see who's on the phone.
Let's head to Las Vegas, Nevada. And Robert, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fawkes.
What's the word, Robert? Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have about 4 major problems and then some secondary problems as a result of those, I believe.
Give us the biggest one.
Well, I guess the biggest one is I have prostate cancer.
Okay.
It's in stage 1.
All right. Couple things. Let's talk about the prostate, okay? Think fats. When you think about the prostate, you want to think of a fat metabolism, fat digestion, fat absorption, fatty foods, fatty vitamins, and minerals. Something people don't recognize is that, recognize often enough, is that mineral absorption depends on fat absorption. So you want to focus on your ability to process fats, getting in fatty supplements and fatty nutrients, staying away from bad fats, and making sure you're getting your minerals. First of all, the ProstFX from Youngevity is a wonderful prostate product, and some good nutrients for the prostate include vitamin E, vitamin A, selenium. Selenium's a superstar, actually, for the prostate. Selenium's a superstar anyway. This is one of the reasons. One of the most important things that Dr. Wallach, in my opinion, one of the most important things that Doc talks about is the importance of selenium and the OPC selenium from Youngevity. Everybody who's dealing with any kind of prostate issue or any kind of immune condition, and that includes cancer, of course, needs to be using the OPC selenium, 600 micrograms a day. I wouldn't waste any time before I got on that if I had any kind of prostate issue. Stat, and that means right away in pharmacy talk, 600 micrograms of the OPC selenium a day. Get on the ProstFX. If you're eating any kind of crappy fast foods, fatty foods, I should say, French fries and deep fried kinds of foods, trans fats, margarine, that sort of thing. You want to stay away from that and instead make sure you're getting your fats from essential fatty acids like the ultimate EFAs. Omega-3 fats are especially important for a healthy prostate. And if you have any fat malabsorption problems, there's a good chance that you're not absorbing your omega-3 fats, and that can cause inflammatory problems as well as prostate problems. So getting on the ultimate EFAs in addition to the ProstFX is something that I'd be considering doing, as well as the B complex and vitamin C. Vitamin C is your most important anti-cancer vitamin. The B complex is important for cell energy, and you'll get that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. In fact, I'd be getting on the Healthy Start Pack because that way you get your OsteoFX, you get your Ultimate EFAs, you get your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, throw in the OPC Selenium, and make sure you're on the Ultimate Daily as well. And if you want one more thing, As far as fat metabolism goes, you might want to try the Nightly Essence, which is loaded with digestive enzymes that can help you absorb fats, as well as a whole bunch of good probiotic bacteria that can also have a positive impact on fat absorption. So focus on fat absorption, focus on minerals, focus on fatty vitamins and essential fatty acids. I didn't tell you about zinc, but that's also very important for prostate health. Thanks so much for your call, Robert. And we've got to move on. Thanks so much. We are going to come back right after this break. Our number 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. We'll be back after this. All right, we are back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Love that commercial from Judy Douglas about the whey shake. You always want to do your whey protein after a workout when you come home from the gym. Not only will your body absorb the protein much more effectively after a workout, but you'll also get more muscle building benefits. So for you guys out there who are interested in building muscle, losing weight, and you're using the whey shake, either the Nature's Whey or the Slender FX, make sure you do your Slender FX and your Nature's Whey when you come home from the gym. And I love Judy's idea about cracking a raw egg or even 2 raw eggs in there to up the protein value. Eggs and whey protein are the 2 most effective forms of protein, especially when it comes to muscle building. So use your protein when you come home from the gym. All right, our number 831-685-1080, 888-379-2552. Who's next on the line, Douglas?
Let's head to Inglewood, California. And Gary, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fawkes.
What's up, Gary? Welcome to the Dead Doctor Show. How can we help you?
Hi, Ben. This is, I was waiting. My guest, Gary, had to leave, so I'm going to speak for him. My name is Madru, but I'm calling for him.
Okay.
He's a weekend warrior,
okay.
tennis, my husband's tennis friends, and we've been, my husband has told him about the Mighty 90 and why he needs it. Well, my husband just says it works. So he called me yesterday, and I told him I was going to get him on the phone with Dr. Wallach, but Dr. Wallach's not in. I said, we got Ben, which is even better. So
no, I can't own up to that, but thank you.
Well, I just want to say, if you can just, I told him he needs the bone and joint pack, and he needs to be taking the rebound while he's playing tennis. So I would like for you to just say it in words because I'm recording it so I can send it to him.
Yes, sir. Weekend warrior, I'm a weekend warrior myself, and you got to be very, very careful because us weekend warriors, we forget that we're not 24, I'm 53 going on 54, but inside my head, I think I'm 24. But then I go out and I play golf or I play baseball or softball or basketball, and then I remember that I'm not 24 when I come home. So what you got to do is you got to make sure, number one, that you're focusing on staying away from pro-inflammatory substances, especially foods. You can't eat the way you used to eat. Pro-inflammatory foods, unfortunately, are the foods most of us eat. They comprise the vast majority of what's called the standard American diet, the SAD. So staying away from those, that's job number one. Secondly, you want to make sure that you're using anti-inflammatory nutritional supplements, and there are a whole slew of those. Number one is vitamin E, probably the most important of all the anti-inflammatory nutritional supplements. You'll get those, of course, in the Healthy Start Pack, and you'll get that in the Ultimate Daily as well. And then you'll get a little bit of that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Vitamin C is probably the second most important anti-inflammatory nutrient, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and now the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. You get a big honking dose of vitamin C. 2 scoops of the BTT will get you 1,000 milligrams of the vitamin C, which is nearly 10 times the recommended daily allowance, which is around 120 milligrams. And then essential fatty acids are also important. That would be the ultimate EFAs. Omega-3s are powerfully anti-inflammatory. The more omega-6s, this is very interesting. There's 2 kinds of essential fatty acids, omega-6s and omega-3s. The more omega-6s that you get, the more you're going to be susceptible to inflammatory problems because it's the balance of omega-6s and omega-3s that keeps inflammation in check. Most of the foods that we eat that comprise the standard American diet are out of kilter when it comes to the proportion of omega-6s to omega-3s. There are way more omega-6 dense, the standard American diet foods, than they are omega-3. That's because omega-3s aren't really found in a heck of a lot of foods, but omega-6s are found in a lot of foods. So making sure that you're restoring that omega-6 to omega-3 balance is very important, and the ultimate EFAs is a great way to do that. And then last but most certainly not least, there's some wonderful B vitamins that have anti-inflammatory properties, including my favorite of the B vitamins, which is vitamin B3 niacin. Niacin alone can do wonderful things for folks who have arthritis or inflammatory diseases. And again, you're going to get niacin in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and a nice healthy dose of niacin, in addition to all of the B complex, all of the other B complex vitamins. If your friend doesn't want to go all out, and I recommend he does go all out with a good nutritional supplement program, at the very least the Mighty 90, which is the Healthy Start Pack, get him on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. One of the neatest things about the BTT, in my opinion, is that people notice results quickly. In this world of ours, we are bombarded with information about formulas and nutritional supplements and this vitamin and that mineral and that fat and this amino acid. It's tough to know what to do. So when you're trying to get somebody you love on a nutritional supplement program, you want them to feel effects quickly. You want them to get the benefits not within weeks, not within months, not even within days, but within hours. And this is the beauty of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Most folks will notice results within 1 or 2 doses, especially if you're using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine you're sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine throughout the day. And that's the way I recommend people take their BTT, is sipping on it throughout the day. And by the way, for folks who have digestive health issues, the BTT, because of its liquid format, is one of the most important nutritional supplements you will ever use. It's liquid. It bypasses digestive problems. It bypasses any issues with the intestine or the digestive system. It goes right to work, and people will notice results right away, including anti-inflammatory benefits. Have your friend sip on the BTT while he's playing tennis, while he's hitting that tennis racket, while he's hitting that the ball with the racket. Sip on the BTT between games or between sets, and he'll notice that he's playing better, and he'll notice that his inflammation is reduced as he finishes his when he finishes playing or doing whatever he's doing. He'll notice that he's got less inflammation if you use the BTT while he's playing his game of tennis or whatever you're doing. Hope that helps, man. Thank you so much for calling. Got to move on. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552, toll free. Who's next, Douglas?
Stay right there in California. Head to Sylvia. You're on with pharmacist Ben Fawkes.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hello. Hi.
What's going on?
I have a 52-year-old diabetic. She's been a diabetic for 16 years. She's blind in her left eye, totally blind, and she's got a right eye partial sight. She's on Haldol, Cogentin, and renal gel.
Why is she on all those drugs? Those are antipsychotic drugs. She got some kind of mental thing?
Yeah, well, a few years back, she had some medication poisoning, her mother said, and that's what caused the blindness.
Well, she still got
medication. How do you know that?
She's still got medication poisoning. She's still got medication poisoning. She's on poison. That's what they're giving her. Yeah. Haldol is one of the nastiest drugs known to man. And what did you Cogentin?
I know.
The Cogentin, they give her the Cogentin because the Haldol is so nasty. The Cogentin is supposed to protect her from the Haldol. Do you know that's what the Cogentin is for? Cogentin, by the way, for the listeners, is a drug that supposedly prevents movement disorders that are associated with antipsychotics like Haldol. So they give you drugs to prevent the side effects from the other drugs. This is the craziness. This is the absolute insanity of the pharmacomedical model, and I have a very hard time being kind to physicians who do things like this. I know I got people always telling me you got to be nicer to doctors. You know, they mean well, but please, if somebody is on a drug like Haldol and it's so toxic, you got to give them Cogentin to protect them from the Haldol. What does that say about the Haldol? All right, let's get to the diabetes. Diabetes is so easy to reverse. It's unbelievable. It's a lifestyle disease. It's a choice disease. Doc Wallach got into some trouble a couple years ago because he was telling people the truth. He was saying, diabetes is easy to reverse, and he's absolutely correct. It's simple to reverse. It's an eating disease. Change the way you eat. You will improve your diabetes. Throw in nutritional supplements. You can completely reverse your diabetes. So what do? Number one, stay away from refined sugars, and that includes bread, and that includes pasta, and that includes macaroni, and that includes all kinds of processed and refined foods. Staying away from those kinds of foods alone will cause your blood sugar to drop and improve your insulin response. That alone will do it. Then you got to make sure that you're starting to, and by the way, by using more protein, you'll find it much easier to wean yourself off of these insulin spiking and blood sugar spiking and diabetes-inducing kinds of foods. Get on the Slender FX or the Nature's Way. Then there's some amazing nutritional supplements that can do wonderful things for blood sugar and for diabetes. And considering we have 100 million Americans who have either diabetes or prediabetes, this is very, very, very important information. We'll tell you about it when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. We're coming back at you right after this. Don't go away. Program. We're talking to Sylvia about diabetes. Sylvia, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
All right, this is so important, but I'm going to go fast because we got a bunch of folks on the line. But the main thing I want to tell you is diabetes is reversible. You don't have to be condemned to it. Tell your friend, reassure your friend. Number one, reduce the intake, even eliminate your intake of refined, processed, floury foods, cereals, breads, pasta, potatoes, all those kinds of foods that raise blood sugar, certainly desserts and sweets and soda pop and that kind of thing. If you have a hard time with those kinds of foods, use more protein, especially whey protein, egg protein, seafood protein, meat protein. It'll help you wean off of the sugars. That's the best way to wean off of those kinds of foods. Then there's amazing nutritional supplements for helping reduce blood sugar. Oh, and by the way, drinking more water after meals. This is a very important strategy for reducing the concentration of sugar in the blood, especially important after sweet, starchy meals or first thing in the morning as well when blood sugar tends to be a little bit concentrated. Then the chromium, the vanadium from Sweeties, those are superstars for lowering blood sugar. Sweeties after all your meals. Magnesium, superstar for lowering blood sugar. OsteoFX or OsteoMag. All the B complex, but especially niacin and thiamine, superstars for lowering blood sugar. Get your friend on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, as well as the ultimate daily product. Zinc is very important for lowering blood sugar, 50 milligrams a day of zinc. Vitamin E, very important for lowering blood sugar, 400 international units a day of vitamin E. Alpha lipoic acid, superstar for lowering blood sugar, 100 to 200, even up to 400 milligrams a day. And then if you want to throw in a couple other neat nutritional supplements, arginine, which is an amino acid, very good for lowering blood sugar. Taurine, another amino acid, very important for lowering blood sugar. And then choline, which is like a B vitamin kind of substance, a B vitamin-like substance, also very helpful for lowering blood sugar. And that's just scratching the surface. Nobody has to deal with elevated blood sugar or all the horrible things that are associated with insulin problems and blood sugar problems and diabetes, and that includes blindness and amputation and high blood pressure and heart problems and elevated cholesterol, etc. And by the way, the main reason why cholesterol levels are raised is because of blood sugar problems. I know I went through that fast, but the bottom line here, friends, is nobody has to deal with diabetic blood sugar, insulin problems if they do not want to. It is a lifestyle issue. It is an eating issue, and there are wonderful supplements, especially the longevity supplements that can help protect you from diabetes or elevated blood sugar or insulin resistance. Thank you so much for your call, Sylvia. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get a couple more in, Douglas.
Let's head to Watsonville, California, and Randy, you're on with Dr. Wallach, or actually Pharmacist Ben.
Thank you very much.
What's up, Randy?
I've been trying to get my wife to be on the BTT and the Mighty 90, and she's got two complaints about it. One is the middle taste in her mouth, and I know you had a resolution for that.
Yeah.
And the other is that it's kind of funny. About 3 days after she starts taking it, she starts her period, and she's been through Change of Life about 8 years ago. So
she's reversing the aging process. I don't think that's
right.
bad. That's not a bad thing. I got to tell you, I'd never heard that, and I don't know how that would work, so I'm not convinced. Sometimes things happen together and they look like they're causally related, but they're not. In nutrition, we say association is not causation. Just because two things happen at the same time doesn't mean that they're causally related. As far as the taste on the BTT goes, I hear this quite frequently about the taste of the BTT. Here's the deal. First of all, the 2.0 is absolute. Have you had the 2.0, Doug, by the way? That stuff is amazing.
I ordered some, but I have not tried it yet.
Holy cow, that stuff is so tasty. It's unbelievable. So the 2.0 may make a difference for your wife. And then secondly, and this is very important, on the instructions it says for you to do 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but you don't necessarily need 2 scoops. You don't want people to say, well, I don't like the taste of the 2 scoops, so I'm not going to do any of the BTT. If people don't like the taste of the 2 scoops, just do 1 scoop. Just do half a scoop. Just sip on it all day long so you don't have that kind of intense flavor, and you'll still get the benefits of the nutrients. It's so tragic to miss the benefits of these wonderful nutrients in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, these easy to absorb nutrients, these easy-to-process nutrients, simply because you don't like the taste. So back off on the dosage, use a smaller amount, and personally, I like my clients to sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine rather than to do it all at once. That way you get a nice, steady, slow release of all of the nutrients into your body. All right, that's all the time we have for. Thank you so much for joining us on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc Wallach today. For Dr. Wallach, for all the folks at ZBS, for Doug Winfrey, I'm Pharmacist Ben saying good nutrition is good medicine. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.